Hello again. Had somebody suggested 30 years ago that every British and American citizen be fitted with a radio-controlled beacon which would track his or her whereabouts 24 hours a day and enable a person's location to be determined within a few yards, and what's more, would keep a permanent log of every person in the country's movements every minute of every day so that the police could see where he or she had been, then there would have been an absolute outcry. Everybody would be talking about 1984 and a dystopian world. What a hideous prospect. If, on the other hand, you offer people the chance to carry around their own little colour television so that they can watch movies and play computer games wherever they happen to be, they will snap up these devices like hotcakes and refuse to be parted from them. The principle remains unchanged, but presentation and image are everything, which is why any train now sees practically all the passengers staring avidly at those same radio-controlled beacons which track their movements 24 hours a day, and from which they now will not be parted under any circumstances. They regard it as a human right to be monitored in this way. In just the same way, if 30 years ago the government had announced that every single penny you spent would now be observed and recorded, and that from now on there would be no such thing as privacy in financial affairs, the average citizen would have been horrified. Imagine if the government could even see when you bought a pornographic magazine or a bottle of whiskey, would be able to see precisely where every penny of your income came from and how much you spent each week and on what. What could possibly be worse? Of course, the scheme was never offered to us in that way. The abolition of money is well underway now and nobody objects at all. Why? Well, it's so much easier to tap a card on a terminal than it is to fumble in your pocket for a fistful of coins. What could be easier or more convenient? And there you have it. We have surrendered our ancient liberties and freedoms for an easy life. This is truly shocking. The all but universal ownership of smartphones has been a government dream come true. Why bother with trying to impose identity cards and all the other paraphernalia of a repressive society upon a nation, when with a little thought they will beg for something far more intrusive, and indeed view the new apparatus of surveillance as though somebody is doing them a favour and conferring a benefit upon them? In case any viewers with a mobile telephone are unaware of the fact, your phone keeps a log of literally everywhere that you go. It can tell you to the very minute how long you spent in a supermarket car park, where you went after that, which streets you walked down, the shops you visited, and so on. Combined with the use of your debit card, the police don't need to monitor your movements or keep track of you. You're doing all the legwork yourself. You are your own surveillance team. There's no need for the secret police to trail you round town because you're carrying an electronic tracking device which is already doing that. Have no viewers read of any cases in the courts recently where mobile phone evidence proved crucial in breaking an alibi? Where simply by glancing at a suspect's phone they were able to see exactly where the person was at any given time? I am regarded by many people as a Luddite crank because I have no mobile telephone. How can I possibly travel on a tube train without being able to stare at a brightly coloured screen? It's unthinkable. The truth is, I don't want anybody to know where I am or where I'm going. It's a standing joke with my wife that I will tell her I'm going to London by tube train and then return home, telling her that at the last moment I changed my mind and instead walked to the Essex town of Ongar. There is a glorious feeling about such expeditions. It's called freedom, doing something spontaneously and knowing that nobody in the entire world has the faintest idea where I am or what I'm doing. I didn't know myself when I woke up that I'd be walking 12 miles to this or that destination today, and not a single person in the world could find me or even have the remotest idea within 10 or 20 miles where I was. The pity of it is that hardly anybody today seems to value such freedom. At one time, the exhilarating feel of being utterly free and with nobody having any idea where one was is something in which many people exulted. Today, being able to access the internet has trumped that. We have as a society willingly given up all our freedom and independence for the sake of convenience and pleasure. It is a sobering thought that the British and American governments are now able to monitor us far more effectively than the Gestapo were ever able to control the citizens of the Third Reich, and that it has all been achieved with our willing cooperation.